What up, what up? Welcome to Countdown to Infinity, an Avengers podcast. This is episode 3 of our mini season. Just one more to go, and then this small mini baby season is over. We talk about a lot of really fun stuff. This episode, we talk about Loki. We talk about What If? ? Hawkeye. And then something I'm really looking forward to, Thor, Love and Thunder. All of that is in this week's episode. We have 2 other episodes that just released. If you want to hear all of them, including the one that's still left for next week, go to patreon.com/DelphinPod. All of them are available, and all you have to do is pay $1 to hear all this mini baby episodes of this little baby season. I keep calling this season a baby, but it's tiny. This weekend, I think tomorrow, when this releases, I don't know where I am. But thank you so much for everyone that was able to meet up. I hope you enjoy all the swag. But yeah, without further ado, listen to this episode, enjoy it, and subscribe because there's definitely more coming at you soon. After that, in the spring of 2021, just a couple more left to go. Oh, this is really interesting, and I think this is the most, I'd have to say...
I'm kind of forgetting now what's announced. I'm kind of
You're
getting
excited, huh?
what you're about to say.
Which one this is.
This is interesting because I don't want to say that this is just Marvel, paying respect to fans for one of their
Hawkeye?
No, for one of their favorite heroes. No, this is Loki.
Oh, Loki, nice.
This is...
Oh, yeah, see, shit, I forgot about Loki.
So Loki seems to me had kind of this interesting wrap-up in Endgame and also in Thor Ragnarok. And to have him back...
Well, in Endgame, he escapes.
Yeah, we don't... Yeah, like, seriously.
That's where the show happens.
He's also Loki.
Yeah, you're talking about Infinity War, right? Where he died? In that one?
Okay, nice. I thought you meant Endgame. I was like, Endgame, he clearly escaped. They opened up that bitch again.
Well, so because Loki is one of the favorite characters for everyone.
One of the best villains that Marvel's ever had.
Hiddleston's back.
Yeah.
To do this, what I'm assuming is a shorter series. The logo is really interesting too because apparently he is going to be in these different moments in history and places like that, and the if you've seen the logo, it's basically Loki spelled out, but with very different font. Yeah, and people are like, "Oh my god, is that letter. Like a Viking thing or something?" But what do you guys think about Loki?
I mean, it's cool to get more Hiddleston because I feel like we still haven't we've gotten a lot of them. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But he's always a character that I felt like you've always wanted more of.
Well, also he's a shapeshifter, so this show lends itself to be like, oh, you're here for like really 5 minutes, and then you're a girl.
Yeah,
or,
exactly. You can really do anything, or
dude,
or you can do a flashback, where like a younger Loki is bitter coffee, I guess.
Oh yeah, I forgot to put sugar in my coffee, and I'm on my second cup, so I'm fucking pumped.
You're fist bumping like right now.
I know.
So yeah, but Loki, I mean, I'm excited for it. This obviously follows the storyline from Endgame. It's if anyone remembers Endgame, it's Loki escapes with the Tesseract.
Yeah,
like at one point,
I think it's at the bottom of Avengers Tower.
Yeah,
where
so
Stark
like he kind of changes the timeline there, and this Loki's following that timeline. So that's, I feel like, I know we're getting, we'll get to this. We're getting a What If series, but I feel like this Loki show is the ultimate like canon What If. Does that make any sense? Like,
well, and also he's like got that Loki has the Space Stone.
Yeah, exactly. So like
he can like go wherever he wants, or like you can Avengers, you can set it on another planet, or
the Avengers just made themselves fail in a different timeline because like they totally failed like right there.
One of the most interesting parts of Loki too, at least for me, was that Thor was always a good foil for him and kind of the person that reined him in sometimes, if not his father as well. But so in this Loki series, I don't think Chris Hemsworth is in it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So it'll be interesting to see him without any like no one stopping him. He can literally do.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't
everything.
doubt that they would like leave something like that for like the season finale, where it's like Chris Hemsworth in there, surprise, motherfucker,
Yeah, he's in a TV show.
Yeah, exactly, and everyone's like, whoa, like this is crazy.
Yeah.
Or like even bringing back like Anthony Hopkins for like a last episode, or Frigga, or
Yeah.
And they can get as weird as they want to here. They can put Loki and the snake and him like tricking Thor as a kid.
That's
and
kind of common for like high profile shows like HBO or like Showtime shows. They'll have like I mean, hell, Meryl Streep was in Big Little Lies like this last season.
Well, and I mean, like
they got paid a shit ton of money per
stakes
episode
too, like stakes. So it's like, why wouldn't you like guest starring, Sam Jackson in there?
Well, that's what makes me think that these shows are going to be lower budget and like only 30 minutes because like the budget has to go to the actors, don't they? Like in this case,
I mean, definitely credit to Hiddleston for having this really insanely good popular character that everyone loves. But in the comic books, is Loki a favorite to the point where he has his own comic books or anything?
It's funny that
really?
you say that. Actually, this past month he had Loki #1 premiere.
Really?
And it's him holding Mjolnir, walking on a bridge, like it looks like New York. But in the back, it's like the Bifrost. So
can you credit him and I guess the MCU to giving Loki kind of this
like a
cult
popularity
status, following? Or
he's always been kind of like a fan favorite Marvel villain.
He really has, and I
think Hiddleston elevated it definitely.
Yeah, oh yeah,
like
for sure.
He elevated it
because he had that single series before back in the day. Like it was an agent of Asgard, so it was like kind of like a secret agent of Asgard that they had him, do. Or I mean, he's been characters in video games since before we can remember, and this is when he had his cheesy two-horned look where it's like super crazy big. And they don't really have him use that helmet a lot. They have him use it in like Ragnarok for a little bit and in the first Thor, or even in the Avengers. But he's definitely a more classic like spandex suit.
Old school.
He's always been a fan favorite villain. I think that Hiddleston coming along and playing him the way he played him, like I think it definitely made the character more popular.
And that's the reason why he has his own Disney Plus show, probably.
Right. But Loki has always been like a dude, like he's Thor's Joker character, and Thor is like
that's exactly right. Yeah, that's why. As long as Thor's around, Loki will always be there.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm really excited. I'm interested to know what the conflict is here for Loki, because again, I felt like he always needed Odin or Thor, someone that strong and that kind of like level-headed and stubborn to stop Loki. Yeah. Because, I mean, remember, he freaking fooled all of Asgard
But I also think you
Ragnarok.
have to remember what state of mind he was in as he escaped. Yeah. Which is the Avengers just defeated me, and, I'm pissed. Yeah. Type thing. Like, I'm still the bad guy.
He's not the
Ragnarok Loki that was, like, good with, he didn't save Asgard from Hela or anything like that yet. So I think he's still, again, in the devious state of mind, which is cool because that's what Loki is.
Yeah. But that's coming out in spring of 2021. Guys, I just want you guys to know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these things we're talking about comes out in 2021 in 1 year.
2 years.
A couple years from now.
Okay.
But yeah, because
nice.
But all
in 1 year.
Basically, I'm sorry, that's confusing.
So it was like 21's not next year.
He's freaking out right now. He's like, "Oh my god,
I skipped a year. I'm late. I'm so late.
I got to do my taxes. Fuck." So summer of 2021. Just a couple of months after this is the What If series based on our Delphin Pod podcast, not in theaters, a What If podcast. Nice. No, but it's the What If series, which if I'm not mistaken, is a popular line of comic books.
It is.
It's an animated show.
This is animated, and and it has the voice actors of pretty much everyone, but Robert Downey Jr. and Chris
everybody
Evans.
That's been there. Yeah,
I feel like you could probably still get Chris Evans for this. Maybe not Robert.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think they have enough money anymore.
I think you could get Robert. Just like record the lines on your phone, send them over, and that's it.
We'll master the shit out of them.
We'll clean the shit out of them.
I haven't looked this up, but have they announced what the What Ifs episodes are?
Because the very first episode is going to be What If Peggy Carter was the super soldier Captain America. But that's it.
Because each episode is a different thing, right?
Well, I'd imagine some of them will go two-parters.
It's like an anthology.
Yeah.
But have they released any artwork of what this cartoon's going to look like?
No, but if you look really close at the What If logo,
they
have
lot of
animation and there's characters in it. Like there's the Red Skull at one point.
I got to do this.
The Red Skull is Captain America at one point.
Yeah.
You see it.
Oh, yeah, that's an old comic for sure. And I meant there was like, what if, Tony Stark was Captain America? So that's where the original Iron Patriot came from. Before Norman Osborn was the Iron Patriot, they had a red, white, and blue Iron Man suit. And
I think What If really lends itself to this podcast because we speculate. This fucking episode that you're listening to is a speculative episode. Like, we're just speculating. And What If is literally like catered to if fucking zombies.
I want to describe
the Marvel Universe
for the people because it's an audio podcast. But if you see the What If logo, Google.com right now. I'll guide you through this.
Google.com.
Zoom into all of the red, and from far away you don't see shit. But when you zoom, when you enhance,
when you zoom,
when you get to your IT department and say enhance, and they scan it in and enhance it, there are a lot of characters in here in the little things. But it looks like it's going to be closer. If that's what the animation looks like, it looks closer to what the comic book drawings
definitely.
look like.
I almost think like you might get judging from some of the artwork on there, I almost feel like this might be like a very a narrated with voices and everything, like voice actors, a narrated animated comic.
Yeah.
And people, you've seen those. I think people have seen those. They're like on Netflix and stuff too.
Yeah. Well, how exciting, because if we talk a lot about how we loved the X-Men cartoons, the Spider-Man cartoons growing up, and this is like a newer version of
like an
some
official.
Yeah, an
Marvel
official.
one. Yeah,
an MCU kind of cartoon.
And they still are releasing comics like that. There was one where
What If are pretty popular, aren't they? Or no?
Yeah, hell yeah! There's a ton.
Give us a couple scenarios.
yeah.
Like, no, give us a couple.
What
give
if
us some good ones.
Spider-Man was part of the Fantastic Four? What if Gwen Stacy lived? There's a
What if the Punisher became Venom or something like that?
I bet we could come up with some good ones too.
Well, and there's a recent comic that just came out where it was like, what if Peter Parker was the Punisher? So he's decked out in a black Spider-Man suit with guns attached to like where he has web shooters.
Damn.
And, his parents were gunned down in an alley, like Batman-esque style Punisher. His family was taken from him. So he's on a vendetta to like, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, and it's been popular for a long time.
They've been around for a long time. That's one of like Marvel's very popular things. And I love that Jeffrey Wright. I think, right? Jeffrey Wright is the Watcher?
Yeah. Well, and
he plays the Watcher, which is pretty
Spider-Girl,
cool.
Mayday Parker was introduced in that series too. So what
Whoa.
if, it was,
It's just awesome because in the comics, who introduces usually some of these stories is the Watcher.
Yeah.
Like the Watcher's like, well, I'm going to tell you a tale that like of stuff that could have been. Because
That's
the Watcher is
interesting.
literally watching all of reality.
Yeah.
Which is like, includes the multiverse.
It seems like this is going to be really, really fun, and it's going to be really close to, I think, because comic books do this all the time. Not only just legit what if, but there are always, times where the comic books offshoots, and suddenly it's a totally different thing.
And some of it they've already covered. Like, what if Hulk had the brain of Bruce Banner? So that's already done. What if the Avengers had never been? What if the invaders stayed together after World War II? What if Captain America had not vanished during World War II? What if Fantastic Four had different superpowers? What if someone else besides Spider-Man had been bitten by the radioactive spider?
Some of those you've already seen in the main movies.
Yeah. What if the world knew Daredevil was blind?
Yeah.
What if the Avengers fought evil
That's
in
a no-brainer.
in the 1950s? What if Jane Foster had found the Hammer of Thor?
Which we'll talk about later on.
Yeah,
she finds it at some point.
What if Rick Jones became the Hulk? What if Conan the Barbarian walked the earth
You can
today?
actually go into some very popular storylines, like the ones that got me into Marvel, which is like the Marvel zombies. Like, what if these Marvel people were
Marvel
zombies?
apes too, right?
Yeah, Marvel apes also.
Marvel apes is a little dumber.
Yeah.
But
Well,
like, I
and
guess so, like,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just kind of introduced a small version of zombies into the into a
MCU.
Marvel
Yeah.
into a Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, these are going to be really fun. I think you're going to be able to revisit a lot of the moments that you loved because I think it's only dealing with Infinity Saga stuff.
Right.
So it's not like they're going to suddenly introduce the Fantastic
Four.
This is all stuff that you kind of know, and it's just a new take on it.
a flip,
And I'd imagine they can make original stuff too. Like it's not just obviously going to be the comics or whatever, but.
And it's really fun because I wonder if any of these ideas, because we talk in the trivia games, just how close these movies were to being totally different than what we saw.
Right, yeah.
And I wonder if some of this stuff explores like legit things that they were thinking about.
they're like, this is easy. We got like first draft scripts, like that were super
Introducing
different.
characters and new actors and stuff. But yeah, What If is going to be really fun. I'm just excited to see an MCU cartoon, and for it to have the same voice talent is insane, because normally if you've seen any cartoon, anything that is a spin-off of a movie, it's all new actors normally, new voice actors, and sometimes it's noticeable.
True.
But yeah, What If? In fall of 2021, another Disney Plus show comes out. It's Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
I would say one of the most important Avengers, because if you think about the MCU, anytime that Hawkeye is there, they win. Basically, and anytime Hawkeye is either on the other side or just missing completely, the Avengers lose. If you think about it hard enough, he's the freaking ace in the hole. He's the secret
I think
weapon.
that's just that's from the course correction that Avengers misused him, and everyone was like, "What are you doing to Hawkeye?" And then suddenly it's like opening scene of the last MCU movie or like the last Infinity Saga movie, and
this I thought was the Disney Plus series that we heard most about. Initially, we really didn't know about any of this other stuff, but we knew there was going to be a Hawkeye show. I think even when Endgame was being talked about or even came out, people were like, oh, there's a Hawkeye Disney Plus show with Bishop or with
Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop. Yeah. So I'm really excited. Are you guys excited for more Hawkeye?
I am. I'm totally. I mean, this is another way you can probably get even more grounded in the show than you did with Falcon and Winter Soldier or even Black Widow.
I mean, it's really cool that they're taking on the critically acclaimed run that they did, which went on for a little bit because at first it was just Hawkeye, and then he had his own little series, and then they introduced Kate Bishop, and they ended up kind of switching to more of her perspective and things like that. So I'm excited. I mean, just to have Jeremy Renner back again, like the more of the cast that you can retain in some way possible, whether that's what if them voicing somebody or getting them for a show, that I'm all for.
On board.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye's character in the movies is like one of the most complex characters out there. Like he's got a family. He does this solely as a job.
Heredo.
And like duty, I guess, but like he really, I mean, you can totally tell that guy can't wait to clock out and go home. And so like I think that's one of the most relatable aspects, one of the most relatable Avengers.
Yeah. After this, people who say Hawkeye isn't seen enough will finally be able to rest because
definitely
he's getting like 6 or 10 episodes of his own thing.
Yeah, he's not getting a movie, which is a little disappointing, but like a show is the next
This is longer than a movie, though.
I guess that's true.
Like, much longer, probably.
It's just, I mean, I would have liked to have
more
seen
content. This is tent. This is good tent.
Yeah.
Hawkeye
20-minute episodes.
I saw the little animation for the Hawkeye title, and I know it's just the title, but I'm like, oh, this might be funny. Like it just has that vibe because it's like arrows going around. It seems like an old spy movie kind of thing. Just in the way it looks, like you know how the 007 it ends with them looking like through the little. Yeah, that gave me that vibe from this Hawkeye thing. I was like, oh, this could be like a fun spy thing, but I don't know. I mean, who knows? Because this is a sequel, right? This isn't
the squeakquel.
This is a squeakquel.
It happens after Endgame, and it revolves around Clint Barton basically training Kate Bishop. Like that's what's going on. Yeah.
How exciting! Hawkeye, baby. That's in fall 2021. There's so many things coming out in that one fucking year.
What's next?
The last thing we'll talk about. Well, there's the second to last thing we'll talk about. November. So for the holiday season, Doctor Strange is what you're most looking forward to. This is probably mine. Thor, Love and Thunder. There was news reports coming out earlier before Comic-Con that Taika would be back with Watiti to come
for the
fourth Thor, which I was already excited for.
Akira fell apart apparently. Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't. It's actually still being made, but they're just pushing it
way back,
further back, because
like the New Mutants. Am I right?
Because Disney was like, "Hey, we want you now." But so Thor, Love and Thunder, the gang's all back. I think there was someone who was skeptical there would be another Thor movie here. I think it may have been you, John.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because.
And guess what? You're fucking wrong.
I mean,
rewind the tape.
I'm happy to have been wrong. I think it could. It was mostly me.
I had said that. I think for sure. No, I had said for sure that it was going to be Chris Hemsworth. That was the only one that came
back. Yeah, definitely. I didn't know in what capacity. I thought they weren't going to make a fourth one because like they literally now just broke. Like now, it's free game. Like anyone can have a fourth movie if they wanted to. Like have Chris Evans bored in a couple of years and Captain America 4 comes out.
I think it's necessary to usher in this like transition. You can't just rip off the Band-Aid like all 6 of them are gone.
Yeah.
You need to have a transition period, and I think it's really cool to have. It should have been also Chris Evans. I think he was built to kind of keep going. Yeah. I understand that he wants a different career in film. He wants to kind of climb the ladder to be a director and things like that, and a writer, I'm sure. But I think it's definitely really, really cool to get one of your A-listers back. I mean, because Black Widow's back, but again, is she really back?
Yeah.
Also, the same thing with Jeremy Renner, where is he really back if you don't watch the show?
Chris Hemsworth has always been the one like with good. Not to say the other one weren't in good spirits, but I think even during like the press for like the second Avengers movie or like Thor the Dark World, like they asked him how many of these would you do, and he
said he'd do it until
until the audience didn't want him anymore. He was like, I would keep doing them. Like he likes being that role.
And we love him. And I think he's also after Thor Ragnarok, which was the third Thor movie. I felt that like, wow, this is actually Thor-ish. Like this is kind of him being comfortable and going through all that crazy stuff as a character, but now he's embracing this like God of Thunder kind of thing, and just the whole vibe of the new Thor movies under Taika Watiti it's like almost like a reboot in a way. Like
It totally
a
is.
new thing.
It is a very definitely. I'm gonna disagree with you there. It is definitely not Thor. Like not it's not comic Thor,
Yeah.
but it is a really good like interpretation or like movie interpretation of Thor because we did try to get. I think we said this also on the Ragnarok podcast. Is like. We tried to get the serious comic Thor in Thor 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And it kind of just wasn't working.
Yeah, he's
So,
had
like,
one of the most unique journeys, I think, throughout the MCU. With going from 1 to course correction into 2, which didn't work either, and then crazy course correction into Ragnarok, and then the way he was played in Endgame.
Yeah.
Something
Endgame,
super
yeah.
different. Than we've ever seen before. I really want to. I'm interested, especially because
That's, like,
what
really
happens
different
after
from
the
what-
Guardians? Like,
Yeah.
since Thor obviously comes before the Guardians, that you're gonna have
It's
the
true.
Guardians appear in there,
Just
or you're
drop-
gonna have them, him leaving out this.
That's
bitch,
how you
or-
get them. That's how you get them out of a Guardians movie because everyone thinks that Thor's going to be in Guardians 3, and
Right,
like
exactly.
James Gunn said, like, oh no, Guardians 3 takes place after Thor: Love and Thunder, so he's like,
Yeah.
they're going to dump him off.
I'm sure
somewhere.
it's gonna
Like,
be something funny because he's got what's it, Stormbreaker that
Yeah.
has a Bifrost attached, so
Oh.
he's gonna be on the ship and then he's gonna summon the Bifrost while they're on the ship
Oh,
or
yeah.
something like that. Or,
And because of the humor in his relationship with Chris Pratt, you could open Love and Thunder with a Guardians mission that does not go well.
I can see
because
them
of
like
that.
abandoning
they-
Thor, like
yeah.
they ditch Thor. Like,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
be
Like,
hilarious.
we're on this planet, and then
They
nothing-
just-
yeah,
they just
exactly.
leave, yeah.
So Valkyrie's in this movie, but the most
Thompson.
surprising thing, because this is why I'm so excited about this movie, is because there's also the reintroduction of Natalie Portman's character.
Jane Foster.
Also known
Not-
as the Almighty Thor.
Also, yeah, coming back as Thor. And this was probably the biggest surprise of the whole Phase 4 thing for me, other than the thing we have to talk about after this, which is going to be really quick, too, because we don't know anything about this next
Yeah,
thing.
that's
But
right.
is the fact that we went from them having to use archival footage because they couldn't get her back for
Endgame.
Endgame to her being upset that Patty Jenkins wasn't hired and basically talking poorly about her experience at Marvel Studios.
She was really like, and this is like the first time we've seen
Yeah.
that. Like, it would be like them going back to
Mickey Rourke. or
yeah,
something.
Mickey Rourke, or like even what's his face,
Edward Norton.
Yeah, Ed Norton,
Weaving.
or what's his, Weaving, or War Machine. Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard.
You know, so it would be like going back to one of them and be like, hey, can you
Yeah.
redo this, or can you come back? And
And she's back.
this is the first time. Yeah, when I
And
heard
she's-
that all it took was one meeting with Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the Taika Waititi part.
Well, and
They're
he's
just
such
like,
a
oh, yeah, like,
visionary, and he's,
Yeah.
he's just a joy to have, I think, as a filmmaker.
Yeah, he has a new movie coming out about Hitler.
JoJo's
right, isn't
Rabbit
there?
or whatever, right?
yeah, Jojo Rabbit. Yeah.
He's a fantastic filmmaker. He was nominated for an Oscar when he was like our age, which is insane for his short film. God, everyone's so young when they. What are we doing with our lives?
We're
Fuck.
podcasting about Marvel.
But I'm excited for this new Thor. I think I'm excited to see Chris Hemsworth back, all Tessa Thompson back, definitely Natalie Portman back.
Obviously, Korg is going to be back as
Korg
Taika
is gonna be
Waititi
back.
with Meek,
Ugh.
and it's just going to be kind of like, like the Revengers back again. Like,
Yeah.
you have
Hopefully
another
they bring
team.
back Sif.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know.
Do you kind of get like a He-Man vibe with everything going on here? I don't know.
It was
A little
funny.
bit. I think
Right? Like with the
I just
logo.
from the logo. The logo looks like it should be spray painted on the side of a van.
Well, and
Oh.
it's funny
Like a-
because someone put all the logos of Thor right next to each other, and they're all like Microsoft Word art, like
Oh.
the fonts.
That's
so I
funny.
was like, oh, this is cool. Like, it's kind of like funny, like a little retro type thing. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited. To be honest, this was the biggest surprise for me, and this was my favorite part of
Yeah.
everything, even with the,
Really?
the
Even over Doctor Strange.
yeah, over Doctor Strange.
too, in a
well,
way.
and because I like the Jane Foster story. So in the comics, she ends up getting cancer.
It's a new storyline.
right.
Like, it's a recent storyline.
Correct.
Yeah.
So she gets. I actually have her first appearance ever.
Wow.
But anyway, she ends up getting cancer, and in order, Nick Fury whispers something into Thor's ear during a storyline called Fear Itself, and you don't know what it is. They built it up for like 2-3 years as this big old event, and anyway, so Nick Fury whispers him, a secret in his ear. Do you remember, little mama? Let me whisper in your ear. I was kidding. He whispers in his ear, and Thor hears it, and that immediately makes him unworthy, and he drops the hammer, and he can't pick it
Whoa.
up. So someone's like, what did Nick Fury whisper to him to make him unworthy? And so at the very end of this issue, you're like, oh, well, the hammer's going to stay there. And then you see it kind of lift like the way Captain America lifts it, where you just see it come off the ground. And the next issue, they're like, guess who the new Thor is? And it's Jane Foster.
Nice.
As her, and it stops the cancer.
Yeah.
And it's so heartbreaking because at the end of the comic, she has to kind of because everyone
Doesn't she like talk like Thor? Like she can't talk.
She's thinking
That's
in like her
super
normal.
funny.
She's thinking in her normal voice, and she's like, "Man, this guy's like super weird." And then she talks, and she's like, "Thou art very strange," type of thing. And
calm thine tits.
yeah,
Remember that one
oh
that
yeah,
he
she
showed-
tells Thor, "Yeah, calm thine tits."
That is so fun, and that's why I'm
He
excited.
becomes the unworthy Thor,
Yeah.
and he loses his hand,
Oh.
so he gets a hook. And
I don't know if I'm down for Thor to get even more shit happening.
Yeah, that's what's basically
and
going to happen.
To be
in the
honest,
storyline.
he gets an axe like Stormbreaker in that thing, and he starts to like fight things with just his strength and with an axe. And so eventually, people started to kind of think it was weird because they changed everybody. They were like, Riri Williams is Iron Man, and Sam Wilson is Captain America, and
Yeah.
Thor's not Thor, and
Lady Thor.
Yeah, exactly, Almighty Thor. And then Hulk's not Hulk anymore, so everyone kind of threw up
A-bomb,
an uproar. Right? Yeah. No, it's what's his face?
Rick Jones.
No, it's Amadeus Cho.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
It's the anyway. So yeah, everyone kind of got mad, and it felt forced just because everybody wasn't who they were. So they went back to their original characters. So they had her stop being the Almighty Thor, and when she stops, she dies of cancer.
Oh no, bummer.
But now she just released a new. I have no clue how, like, what happened after that. Because after she stopped, I was like,
just
"Fuck
stopped
this!
reading?
Yeah, I'm done with this." Anyway,
She's back though.
She's back, and she's Valkyrie.
Oh,
And she just released a new issue 2 weeks ago, and it's Valkyrie Jane Foster #1.
this is what I'm excited about because Valkyrie is. She says she's looking for her queen. But what I'm excited for,
The first LGBT hero in the MC. I mean, it's
What
not
is-
the first LGBT.
no, I think there might be
character.
one in the Eternals. But
Oh, yeah, maybe.
one of the more exciting things for me is what if there's this interesting love triangle.
Well,
in-
and that's why John was like, "Bring Sif," and I was like,
Love
"So
and
that
Thunder.
Thor is like, I like Valkyrie, I like Jane Foster, and I like Sif.
Well,
Which one am I gonna choose?"
What if Valkyrie likes?
Sif.
No, what if Valkyrie likes freaking
Almighty Thor.
The Almighty
Yeah,
Thor?
Almighty Thor, and they're having to compete for her, which I think would just be so funny.
That would be
that
really
would be
cool.
really
It'd be
cool.
a really funny dynamic, and
Yeah.
I think Taika Waititi has a lot of room to work with, especially because it is a new series. Not a lot of people know about it. They haven't. They could still expand on it.
This is going to be even more YTT like than the last one though, because he didn't write Ragnarok.
Oh, they're gonna let him do whatever he wants now.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's a new James Gunn. But
Okay.
yeah,
James Gunn is also still.
yeah.
We'll see how Suicide Squad does, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see him. That kind of gets me worried because it feels like Marvel just like ran out of material of shit to use, and now they're like, let's go to the recent stuff that just came out last month.
It's also, I think, a really great example of how Marvel isn't. They're not held to like this writer's room or like this big brain trust to where if there's actors and directors and who just want to work together again, they're fully on board with it. They're like, yeah, like because we hear about this all the time. The thing that's coming to my mind is how Guillermo del Toro never got to make Hellboy 3 with Ron Perlman again. Like they wanted to do it, and the studio was like, no. Does that make sense? Like, and now here we are. Chris Hemsworth, Taika, everyone wants to do it again, and the studio was like, okay, like fuck it. Like you guys did a good job. You did a good thing. So we'll put our faith behind you. And that's what's really cool about Marvel because they could be very much like, no, Thor is done, or we want a new Thor. Let's reboot Thor. But instead, they said, you guys did a great job. You proved yourself. Why would we not want this again?
Well, and now the only reason this new Thor makes me scared is that like, is this it for Hemsworth? And is Jane Foster going to carry it on, like keep going and keep the Thor franchise going, or
10
are they
more
both going to
years.
stop? Or
Yeah.
So I'm so worried of like, is this going to be the end? And
Yeah.
like, we're not going to see any of these ever again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's what's really nice about this. After they survive Thanos. What's really fun is that the stakes don't have to be incredibly that high right away. So Thor, Love and Thunder, it doesn't have to be a universe-ending thing. Like it could be something that doesn't necessarily kill everyone, and there could be more because it doesn't. Woo, we are almost through all of the Phase 4 announcements. Thank you so much for listening so far on these last 3 episodes. We just have one really big announcement and then a bunch of other stuff we want to talk about with Phase 4 next week, next Thursday. Review the pod if you really like it, share it, and definitely subscribe. Definitely go to patreon.com/delphinpod and support it. New episodes will be out there soon. I mean, thank you so much. Let us know what you're excited for. Go to @DelphinPod on all social media We'll see you next week when we wrap up this little mini season.